On today's DNVR Buffs Live, we've got an absolutely loaded show recapping day 5 of practice, what Coach Shurmur, Dallan Hayden, and Charlie Offerdahl said on the podium. CU's officially back in the Big 12. Congrats, everyone. We made it. Zayne DeSouza commits to Colorado, the latest on Julian Lewis, and much more. Here we go.
Andiamo!
Let's go, man. Welcome into DNVR Buffs Prime Time. We've got an absolutely packed show
You're
today.
excited about this one.
Pumped. This is why I've been dying for football season.
Yeah, it's so close. It's so close, Jake.
It is.
It's really, before you know it, it's going to be like, oh, man, we're in that grind. It's a glorious time.
Not bad, huh?
Buffs back in the Big 12.
We're back in the Big 12.
Where
it's officially official.
That feels so right.
Yeah.
That really feels right.
Back where we belong. Hope everyone is having a wonderful Friday out there. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit that thumbs up button because this is going to be a good one. Day 5 of practice wrapped up today. There will be a day 6 tomorrow, and that will be the cap on the first week of fall camp in 2024. Neely's with Coach Prime, and they're headed to Canton, Ohio, as Devin Hester is getting enshrined in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So I didn't get to speak to Neely today. I don't have too much on what actually happened at practice. We watched well off, though. We saw some things.
We did. We did.
Preston Hodge making plays, wide receivers doing their thing.
Yeah, and you were up in Boulder.
I was up there, yeah.
Talked to Coach Shurmur.
Mm-hmm. Dallan Hayden and Charlie Offerdahl.
Come on now.
Yeah. It was
Great
a good day.
Great day. What's RK up to?
What is RK up to? He's
Any
at
insights?
Yes, he's in somewhere in southern Los Angeles area, California.
Not another celebrity golf.
No.
Thing.
He's at a bachelor party this time.
Jesus. It never ends.
I know.
Never ends.
Hilarious, huh?
Yeah.
No, he deserves it. He's like he told me, he worked the first 5-6 years of this company with no paid time off. So now that he's got it, he's going to use it while he can.
Yeah, it was all time off, time on, I mean, it was a fun blending. Not much has changed, frankly. Not much has changed. No one approved my PTO. So, it's kind of like it wasn't PTO at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, emails. It does sound like I'm not going to use the S word, but there will be some live action tomorrow at practice.
Live action. Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
Yep. It seems like they took it a little easy on the guys today.
Yep.
And so we should expect some pretty good content to come out of Well Off, Reach the People, and the pregame show tomorrow.
Yeah, Coach did talk about, I kind of took it easy on you today. You give me a little extra tomorrow.
Yep. All right, let's get into it. Pat Shurmur.
His eyes really pop with these Studio B cameras. It's incredible. What a handsome guy in Studio B. My goodness.
Oh, man.
Incredible stuff. We're in full Friday vibes. Feeling good.
Yeah.
Really feeling good. You love to see it.
Let's just get into it, man. We got a lot to get to. We'll hit on Juju and all that.
Please.
Pat Shurmur, though, he is really fitting into college football and really enjoying his time at Colorado, it seems.
That really came off in the presser and the well-off videos, too.
Yep.
He just seems so happy. And I mean, he touches on that with some of those questions he posted on Twitter.
Yeah, we'll get to his opening statement here in a second. Just talking about his time basically over the last year. Remember, it was about this time last year that he did join the staff as an offensive analyst. and then obviously was elevated in the last, month or so of the
5
season.
weeks. Right?
Yeah. All right, let's get to it then. You ready, Alyssa? Here is Coach Shurmur's opening statement from his press conference today.
Shoot, I feel 20 years younger working with these young people, right? But practice been competitive. Defense has been challenging everything. Offense, we're all sort of sharpening our skills, getting ready to go. If you believe a practice is like a game, there's times in there where the defense will make a play, then the offense makes a play, and then when the play doesn't go your way, how do you respond? And I think I really feel like, and again, I'm only really worried about one side of it. I really feel like we're coming together as a team, and it's a credit to the new players we brought in, the old players that were here, and their mindset going into this. So it's been fun. And if you sense my excitement, this has been fun for me, working with these young players. I got a new, fresh perspective. It's a more wide open style of ball, which is not as much as what I was used to at the pro level. And so, and we got a lot of really fine players, and it's fun to get them ready to go. So that's where I'm at.
So we were talking before the show about, Pat Shurmur and his time at the Broncos.
Yeah.
He never sounded like that. I watched a lot of Pat Shurmur when he was the OC at Denver. He never sounded that excited about football and about what he was seeing on the practice field than he did right there.
I also don't know that he ever came off that chill and sincere.
Yeah.
And just enjoying his work, enjoying his job. It really comes off, and he talks about working with young people.
Yep. And he mentioned the defense too. That's kind of been the story of camp so far, is how well this defense has performed. And he didn't even have to be asked about the defense or bring it up in another question. He just brought it up in his opening statement. So they've made an impression. And they made an impression on him. So Buffs are going to be really good defensively, it sounds like.
Yeah, you love to see that. And there's also, feels like more comfortability with the group, a little more. Last year, I think maybe we read into a little too much of the experience he had as the primary play caller in those last 5 weeks, Really sounds like a fresh start, and getting, being able to embrace that and really go into that all the way.
Exactly. There's a lot that's going to be different about this season, and Coach Shurmur was asked about, what's going to be different on offense? What are we trying to improve on?
Well, I feel like we need to be able to run the ball, right? And when I say that, when teams maybe are thinking that we are going to run the ball, and then we need to protect the passer better, just generally speaking. That's just what I like to call common sense football, and then when you're throwing and catching, you want to do it at a high clip and complete passes. I think those are the important things. And then when you get in the red area, you want to score touchdowns. So, you want to do the first things first. You want to be able to control the line of scrimmage the way you want to, right? You want to try to create big plays, because it's hard to go 5 yards at a clip, right? And then we as an offense are charged with scoring every time we take the field. So it's pretty simple, and the ball is oval shaped, full of air, made of leather, and we want to secure it collectively and advance it. It's pretty clear in my brain, right? And so that's what we're trying to do.
I love that.
Pretty straightforward, huh?
Yeah, pretty straightforward. That's right. I like how in the other clip he said, "You guys could probably tell from my excitement." Like, no, Coach, you seem pretty chill.
Right.
You seem pretty relaxed right now. But I'm glad that for him, that's excitement.
Yeah.
He's embracing it.
But, he's exactly right. They run the ball, they protect Shedeur, they control the line of scrimmage, and they score in the red zone. This team is going to be very, very difficult to beat.
Yeah. Seemed like focus on the run was kind of a topic of the day as well.
It really was. We had the running backs up there too, and that's kind of one of the stories of the offseason, is that rebuilt room and just trying to own the line of scrimmage a little bit more.
How much do you read into the comments on, cooking in someone else's kitchen?
Yes, that is the next one coming up here, and it's a very interesting kind of, because I think we talked to Pat when he was going through it last year when he was promoted and all that stuff, but I think, with the benefit of hindsight and having him being able to look back on it now, we're getting a better perspective from him on that whole thing. because you're right. There's only so much you can do. And we talked about that a lot last year too.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. The last one about taking over for Sean Lewis last year.
Yeah, I felt in a couple of those games we had a chance to win, but that last year was just kind of finishing up something that, I think Coach made the point sometimes it's hard to cook in somebody else's kitchen, because you can't really change anything at that point. Your team is pretty set, but I don't know if that's a springboard. What I do know is we were able to kind of reset it the way we wanted to. The guys went out and got us some new players. We felt like we need to go get more quality big men, and then we install an offense that works for us. And so I feel like it's a new start moving forward. That's where it's at.
So you broke down his offense when he was hired as OC in Denver.
Yeah.
And we're going to get a much better feel and look at what he actually wants to do on offense, obviously, this year. But what did you see back then? Maybe some common traits that we can apply to this year's team.
Yeah, and a college version of that, right? Because he's, that was probably the bigger thing that stood out about Shurmur is there wasn't a ton of college experience dating to back in the day, but he is an Andy Reid early disciple. He was the guy before like even Matt Nagy way back when all those disciples from the Chiefs started getting put out to kind of be, the next guy up. Then he got some experience under Chip Kelly, which I think was really underreported. So he's got this like Gruden tree, Andy Reid, West Coast guy background.
Yeah.
But always struck me as a guy who was more adaptable and a bit more versatile, and in some ways had more college concepts than a lot of that coaching tree, a lot of those other play callers. And I think it's partially because Andy Reid showed himself to be very versatile and open, especially lately. Chip Kelly obviously was a true innovator when he worked with him in the early mid-2010s. And then he really had his breakout season as the play caller for the Vikings in that 12-win season with Case Keenum as the quarterback, which got them both big paydays. Shurmur becomes the head coach of the Giants, and Keenum becomes gets paid by the Broncos, and that didn't work out. But I think the first thing that stood out to me, aside from getting the ball out quickly, trying to throw it with accuracy, trying to make things easier on the quarterback, some of that bootleg stuff you see where you can do more half-field reads and what have you, is that he kind of catered to a more mobile quarterback.
Right.
With Keenum, even with Daniel Jones at the Giants. So you will see more rollouts. You will see more maybe RPO concepts being incorporated. More half-field reads where you're getting the quarterback on the run and getting him to get the ball out that way. So it's a nice little blend of a lot of like kind of old school timing, West Coast concepts, pocket passing, and then some of these added wrinkles like the RPO and, focusing on more quarterback runs and getting the quarterback out in space more.
Love it. Nicholas with the comment, I don't think Shurmur has had this much to work with since the Vikings. This is easily probably the best quarterback he's ever coached. Just thinking off the top of my head, it's really that Case Keenum year.
Yeah, I'd have to think of who he had in Philadelphia.
That would have been Sam Bradford, wouldn't it have been?
Yeah, there might be some end of career Michael Vick.
Right. Yep.
Maybe some Nick Foles, but not Nick Foles in the Super Bowl year. So yeah, you're right. It probably is. I think he left KC before Mahomes ever came around. So yeah, that's interesting. And I guess what I didn't talk about is the importance of the running game and all that, because you're not going to be able to do that run stuff, and defenses aren't going to pay attention to it as much with getting the quarterback out on the move and getting the ball out on time if you're not establishing the run and doing a good job of that. That's something they were really good at with the Vikings. And something that's been questioned in his past is the red zone efficiency he has as a play caller. And that's something that season in the Vikings kind of stands out. They were really one of the best in the league that year. And I think it started from the running game. That was the best run game he's had in his career. The other years, not so much.
My general takeaway just from his press conference today is just a guy who seems really happy with what he has, the players that he has to work with, the talent that he has on his side.
And the coaching environment he's
in. And just really content. I think that's the word that really sums up what he was giving off today, basically.
Right. To him, it's translating as excitement. To us, it's like, wow, you seem like in a good place, coach. And that's great.
Exactly. All right, let's hit a break. Then we'll hit Dallan Hayden and a little bit of what Charlie had to say on the podium. Shout out to our friends at Mint Mobile.
Ooh.
Cell phone providers can be a lot, right?
Yeah, not great.
You try and get a new phone, they slap you with this fee, you're locked into a contract for 30 months or whatever it is, and then you finally get that phone. Well, you got to get this also. There's none of that over at Mint Mobile. They make it very, very easy, and it's a cheap wireless plan. We've got some fans in the chat who love Mint Mobile. If you're a new customer, you can get a new 3-month premium wireless plan for just $15 a month. If you go to mintmobile.com/buffs, BUFFS. That's mintmobile.com/buffs. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month. It's a $45 upfront payment required. It's equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on the first 3-month plan only. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes on the unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details. Shout out to them. I know if you're in the market for a wireless provider, like shopping for one is always a headache. So hit up our friends at Mint Mobile.
Stuff. You feel like you're being screwed at every corner.
Yes, you do. And then our friends at UC Health. We've been talking a lot about mental health on this show.
They work with Coach Prime.
They do work with Coach Prime. He is a big spokesperson for UC Health, kind of leading their charge, really.
Indeed, yeah.
And Coach Prime is taking care of his mental health. He always preaches about that in team meetings. Just whenever he has a time to give a word of wisdom, he's always talking about how you can better yourself and take care of what you need to do in your life. And UC Health has a bunch of patient stories up on their website that you can go check out also. Their patient, David Schlitz, a Colorado teenager, loves being active outdoors, and he's a prime example of someone taking care of their mental health and living like there is a tomorrow. If you want to learn more about David's story and see more inspiring patient stories from UC Health, head on over to uchealth.org/tomorrow to learn what it means like there is to learn what it means to live like there is a tomorrow.
There is a tomorrow. Yes. Do it, guys.
I got it. I got it. All right. Dallan Hayden was on the podium. First time we spoke to him as a Buff today.
Yeah, for sure.
He was short and sweet with pretty much everything, but I feel like we learned a lot from him. He was asked about why he came to Colorado, basically. He was at Ohio State. That's pretty much a factory for running backs. He probably could have gone almost anywhere, was very highly coveted, but he chose Colorado, and he shared exactly why he chose here.
Dallan, I'm sure when you were doing research into what school you should go to, transfer to, you saw this is probably one of the worst rushing offenses in the country last year. What gave you confidence that you could come in here and turn that around?
We have a new scheme this year, a new OC, so I feel like the run game will be a whole lot better, and I know I could help that. So.
Do you feel like there's an emphasis on running the football? Coach Prime talked about it being one of the biggest priorities.
Oh yeah, it's a big emphasis because in football, it might be a pass-first game, but you can't get the pass game going if you can't get the run going. So, yeah, it's a big emphasis for sure.
I feel like that's a lot of the transfers coming in. Just they saw what happened on the field last year at Colorado, and they just went, yeah, I can help.
Yeah. Yeah, which is not a bad route.
No, not at all.
Yeah, opportunity was a big one. We had some guys transfer because they felt their opportunities were dissipating, and then kind of opportunity opened up. Dallan came in at just the right point, and some of the other quotes I thought were even more interesting.
Yeah, so if you've been watching Well Off, you've noticed Dallan on the side a lot, just talking to Shurmur whenever they have a chance to, meet in between plays or whatever. And it seems like Shurmur's really been helping him get up to speed with the offense and all that. So I asked him, what's it been like getting up to speed with everything? What's it been like trying to learn the offense, and how Shurmur kind of helped you along the way?
It's been good. The coaches have done a great job, explaining the scheme, not trying to give too much, too early. Shurmur, he always talk to me in the backfield. Like, I can always confirm with him what I have. So it's been great.
He's coming along.
Yeah.
We're 6 days in.
Yeah, you forget. It's so easy to overanalyze this stuff.
Right, or 5 days in. But I think the fact that he's just on the podium is a great sign for how he's coming along.
Does
and really
feel encouraging.
Yeah.
Yes. And as many of the big name new guys that they need on offense, he's very high on that list of guys that they need like now.
Yep. Of course, coming from Ohio State, he's played with a lot of talented players, talented quarterbacks, played with CJ Stroud. He was asked, what's it like playing with Shedeur, and he gave a very interesting comp to Shedeur.
You've seen some good quarterbacks. Where does Shedeur Sanders stack up?
I mean, Shedeur's a great quarterback, He's going to be a top 2 pick, in my opinion. So, I mean, he's really good.
What makes him different than the others?
I mean, to be honest, him and CJ, I feel like emulate each other, like both business oriented when it comes to the game, both very smart quarterbacks, and both great teammates and like encouraging. So
that's
pretty cool.
The reigning NFL Rookie of the Year you just compared him to.
Yeah, I mean, a quarterback the likes of which we haven't seen for a few years, not since Burrow's rookie year, probably. So, yeah, pretty high praise. And top 2 pick stuff.
Yep.
Not bad. You can see, though, I mean, that's a comp we've made before, right? Like, stylistically,
I think
there
we've
is some
mentioned
CJ
Yeah.
to Shedeur's game for sure.
Well, just in terms, I think, in how he plays the pocket, his accuracy, and how he's a pass-first quarterback, obviously. He's not looking to run like CJ, where it's like, yeah, if you wanted him to, he probably could run all over, but that's just not how he wins or how he likes to win.
No.
With Charlie, it's up on our YouTube page, but really I just wanted to talk about this quote because he was asked about the way the question was framed was what's it like having a target on your back, because Coach Primus said you're the starting running back, and he said it publicly many times. Charlie gave a Charlie answer, just grinding it out, just trying to do what I do. But he also had another good one. He was asked about Colorado's defense right now, and he said defense is flying around. Not gonna lie. On the offensive line, he said it's amazing, night and day comparison from last year. They're big, they're fast, and they can move their feet well. It sounds like just improvement across the board, which is awesome.
And that's really a key to this offseason. I know there's some people concerned with the O-line and stuff that maybe came out on well-off yesterday, but you love to hear that specifically from one of the more veteran guys who definitely can compare not just last year, but the year prior to that and tell you how much better they are. And that's just a group that's going to take some time. You know, people got to be patient. 5 days in, the O-line's not going to gel quite yet. That's going to take a minute. It seemed like that was a lot of well-offs too. I think Charlie's comments echo some of what we saw on YouTube as well. It's like people are predicating some patience and the fact that, hey, you're winning some, you're losing some.
Right.
Be patient, embrace that grind, embrace that growth, and have that game-like mindset.
That's
like
what Coach Livingston said. Yeah,
exactly. Just like a game, you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. Just lock in and be ready for that next play.
Yep.
Let's not dwell on things too much or read into too much of what's gone on. And kind of a good reminder for us, too.
Definitely, man. So, that's pretty much the first week of camp. Boom. There you go. They will practice tomorrow. We'll talk about it on Monday, but welcome back.
Great stuff. Welcome back, brother. You felt good about your coverage? Week 1 of camp? How would we grade Jake's output?
B+.
Yeah, I think an A, probably inappropriate after Ryan put you on blast
of course,
running late that one day. But then I think we bounced back nicely.
Yes,
We're not dwelling on that. We've moved forward, and we're doing great.
We take full accountability for it. We try to make it not happen again, and we be better tomorrow. That's what it's all about.
I love it. Okay, B+, week 1 of camp coverage. You love to see that. Well done, Jake.
That's a good start, B+ to start us off.
I love that. I'll put out a graphic request right now so we can get that out on
There we
social.
go.
Yeah.
There's room to grow with that too.
Yeah, totally. I love that.
So welcome back to camp, but welcome back to the Big 12, Dre. Officially official today. It was actually at midnight.
Feels so right.
The Big 12 was all over this. They were teasing it all day yesterday. Can't wait for tomorrow. You know, they tweet right at midnight.
They get it.
Yeah, they get it.
They get it. Unlike the idiot admin running the ACC's accounts. The Big 12 understands there's going to be a lot of likes in Colorado content, and I need to lean into this. Yeah. Not trying to stolen valor or some other conference's achievements, you know.
Rick George had this quote via the Big 12, said, "We're excited to be back home in the Big 12 conference, not just because of our rich history in the league, but especially because of the bright future ahead. In the current landscape of immense change within the world of college athletics, the Big 12 is an innovative, dynamic leader.
Yes.
We're looking forward to adding CU to a strong group of member institutions that will have an enormous impact on college athletics now and in the future."
Yeah. 30% of that comment is merely just burning the Pac-12 and what an absolute disaster that was.
Yeah, pretty much saying, thank God we don't have that clown leading us anymore.
No kidding. But of all the new members, Colorado does have this beautiful duality of we are so excited to be back in the conference that frankly we should have never left. And, you know, it was a fun experience in the Pac-12.
Yeah.
That wasn't all bad, and we've landed on your feet, so back in the Big 12, nothing to complain about. But so nice to be back where our roots really belong and where people, you know, my age really feel like that's where the Buffs brand was built. And then the other side of it, it's not just you're excited for the fit. You're excited for this conference feels like it has some real juice, some real potential, a real like trajectory.
Yes.
And you're not just dreaming and kind of doing lip service, actual trajectory. And that's exciting. Feels like the new Big 12 is going to factor into the future of college football.
Yes.
Which is an ever-changing landscape. Now more than ever, I think like the next 20 years are going to be written in the next 24 months. And it's really exciting to be in this conference that I think will be one of the conferences writing it and not be impacted by the other conferences writing it and merely be able to react.
Wonderful analysis. Really, it's security, right? Being in the Big 12. It's
100%.
Obviously the short-term security of being in a power conference as the Pac-12 kind of, you know, separated and fell apart. They were able to find a lifeboat. And they were able to, you know, not only join a league, but get back in a league where they have so much history, so much championship history, the glory days, if you will.
Truly.
And now we're embarking on like the next era of glory days at Colorado.
Yes.
So very fun, very exciting time. We saw, obviously, you saw from the interviews, the Big 12 logo in the background on the, what would you call it, backdrop, I guess. They have the Big 12 logos at the CU Event Center on some of the courts now, too.
Yeah.
So
Toyota 4Runner, too.
Yep, Toyota making a
People. No. On focus on there. Focus.
But yeah, great day. Finally made it back. This conference realignment is not over, but this stage is for right now, and we're okay. We just kind of sit back and watch now. We're not a main player. You know what I mean?
No kidding. It is so nice. Yeah, just you can be the poacher. You're not trying to find a home. And I mean, God, we could all be Oregon State and Washington State right now.
Right.
Or Stanford and Cal. Frankly, I think Stanford and Cal are amazingly in a worse situation than Washington State and Oregon State.
If the ACC falls apart, they are doubly screwed now.
Also, it's the Pacific Northwest. It's not the Atlantic Coastal. Let's rebrand. Rebranding would be fine. But this is too much for me. This is really too much for me. So yeah, it's what a day. What a day. I love the basketball. You know, the women's basketball social, putting up all the stuff from championships of yesteryear. It's it really, once upon a time when I would visit my grandparents in Lakewood in the summers, this town was really a Broncos, Buffs, and Rams town. It was pro football and college football. That's what mattered. That's what resonated in the 90s out here. And the Big 12 was part of all that. And bringing them back, it warms my little old heart, So, yeah, I'm happy.
It feels good. We'll see what happens with the ACC moving forward in realignment, but that is where we stand, Dre.
Yeah.
You want to talk about Coors Light?
You know it. Coors.
The goats.
They're the goats. Colorado through and through. They get it. And Coors Light, nice little silver bullet, Mountain Stern blue. Delicious, refreshing, cold like the Rockies. And I mean, Coors' big thing, like Colorado, you can choose to be upset about this, to let that bother you, to let him piss you off, to let her get under your skin, or you can just choose chill. Choose chill. Choose that chill mindset, right? We only have one life, Jake. We only have one life. We're only going to get the Coach Prime here for, we're in the special time in our life.
Yes.
We're really going to get bogged down by all that BS? No, we're going to choose chill. We're going to have a nice porch beer. And what better than a Coors Light? Cool, refreshing, like the Rockies. Down the gullet, feeling great. Starting your Friday off right.
Make the most out of the times you choose to chill. Choose Coors Light. Get it delivered straight to your door with Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/DNVR. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. And then our friends over at Circa Sportsbook. Circa is probably my favorite place in Vegas, honestly. It'll be a minute before we go out there. I do need some time away. I'm not like a full Vegas person, you know what I mean? Like,
Right. No, you've never been.
No.
You've never been.
But whenever I do go, I'm happy that we get to go to Circa Resort and Casino.
No kidding.
It's incredible. It's the crown jewel of Fremont Street, really. But that sports book, man, I could spend hours and hours and hours in there.
Yeah, the pool. Boy, I could go for a spin in that bad boy right now.
But if you are not able to head out to Vegas and you are in Colorado, you can download the Circa Sportsbook app on your phone right now.
Circa Sportsbook Colorado.
Yep, they're one of the only sports books that are that have the artisanal handcrafted lines still. Meaning you get a little extra juice on that plus money.
That's nice.
Maybe a half a point or so in your favor at times. So check them out. Download the app at circasports.com. Circa Sports bets can only be made while physically located in the state of Colorado. You must be 21 or older. All rights reserved. Circa Sports Colorado encourages you to gamble responsibly. If you have a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER or visit problemgamblingcolorado.org. All right, chat. A few more things to go here. Get your questions in. Let's talk about the commitment. 2025 three-star tight end Zayne DeSouza has committed to Colorado. A local kid, too, from Loveland High School in Loveland, Colorado. I think first Colorado recruit to commit to Colorado since Coach Prime was hired.
First Colorado mountain range to actually commit to the school of Colorado, because that is the size of this young man. 6'6", 260. My goodness.
Yeah.
How are they hiding this kid out in Loveland over there?
I don't know.
Just nuts.
He's one of those kids where, like, if on college football you put your 30 recruiting hours into scouting, and then after that you get the green gem pop up. Blink. Gem recruit.
Gem recruit, indeed. Who is in on him? UNC, Washington State. I'm probably missing one. Wyoming was another local school. So, I mean, this is what I love about Coach Prime and his staff. They're not just recruiters because they're like addicted to getting new guys and addicted to the star ratings. They don't give a shit. They are all about talent, all about adding talent. And they found this gem. And I mean, the second I put on his huddle highlights, I'm like, you heard me laughing. You're like, oh, you're watching his highlights? What's up with that? He's just stupid good. Man, I mean, a man against boys, 100%. crazy that he's playing tight end. And you see him. I mean, he gets out in the open field. He's catching everything. He's coming down with everything. He uses his body really good. He's really good at high pointing the ball. And, you know, then obviously in the level of competition he's playing against now, he's a handful to bring down in the open field. He's going to be a handful at all levels, though. I mean, we scout the NFL draft and do our weekly draft podcast. We don't talk all that often about guys who are 260 plus.
Right.
Certainly not who are 6'5" and up.
Yes.
I mean, he is a big for an NFL draft prospect. Forget a guy who's going into his senior year of high school. Just bananas. And as you were saying, I mean, we'll see if he sticks at tight end, because with that size and athleticism, he would be just a natural fit at offensive tackle.
Yeah. So that's the conversation with him is, how big is too big for a tight end? Because he's kind of in already that like tweener territory between tight end and playing offensive line at 260 pounds. What did Joe Alt go in the draft? Top 5?
Yeah, the
just outside.
Chargers drafted him 5th overall, I want to say.
Either way, that's the type of player this guy could be. Joe Alt came to Notre Dame, started as a tight end.
1,000%.
Eventually just kept on growing and adding mass, and it was like, well, we got to get this guy on the field because he's such a beast.
Yeah.
Can't play tight end. He's just going to be our left tackle now.
100%. I mean, it makes me think of Nate Solder, right? Yeah, he's Buena Vista kid, comes to CU as a tight end, and then couple of years into being a Buff, he makes the conversion at offensive tackle and ends up being one of 2 first-rounders that season for the Buffs, him and Jimmy Smith. And, I mean, went on to, you know, protect Brady's blind side for many years and have a borderline Hall of Fame career. So, I mean, there's different trajectories, but I was already thinking about him in the context of moving to the Big 12 and how many of those like light 3-3-5 type fronts you have, where like you've got some little 240-pound edge rusher playing the 5 technique. Well, geez, if you have him as your 7th blocker out there helping out your right tackle, what's going to happen? I mean, he's just, because his blocking tape is also impressive. I think he needs to be a little bit more square, you know, better at finishing or whatever, but he moves guys really easily and he gets to the second level like it's nothing, as you would imagine from an athlete of that caliber. So there's just, he's a true gem. He's a guy who gets me really exciting. He's a like first guy off the bus type of recruit. You love that they're staying local. He's ranked 247. You were telling me 3rd highest ranked guy in the state.
Yep.
So you love that as well. And I mean, you know, a kid like that just has such absurd upside that, I mean, he could completely blossom in his senior year and all of a sudden be getting national attention. He's that type of talent.
Yep. Great get. As you said, 6'6", 260. So we'll follow him as he goes through his senior season of high school at Loveland as well. I do encourage you guys to go turn on the huddle tape of him, though, because it's just a fun watch. It's kind of just funny watching him.
Yes.
How much bigger he is than some of these kids and how easy he's just able to completely crash a whole side of the defensive line.
Did you get into the basketball tape?
I did not get into the basketball tape yet, but he is a 2-sport player, does play basketball, and I'm excited to dig into those highlights as well. As you mentioned, he only has 2 other scholarship offers, Northern Colorado and Washington State being the other. He really balled out on June 6th at the elite camp at Colorado. That's where he got noticed. I actually spoke to him right after that and wrote this article a few months ago, the 5 Colorado recruits to watch for 2025 and beyond, and the first guy I mentioned was Zayne DeSouza.
But you had him as an athlete.
Yeah, because the conversation then was, are you really a tight end, or are you just going to play offensive line? Well, the reason he earned his offer is because he went to CU and impressed so much catching passes and ran a 4.4 that they were like, all right, this is a tight end then. So he balled out. He said back then, I came in there with the intention of trying to get an offer and impress the coaches, especially Coach Prime. He seemed to take a liking for me. He was coaching me the whole camp. He came over, grabbed me, and said, where are your parents at? I'm going to give you an official offer.
Our guy, man, with the story right there. The
like
DNVR.com under his bio, Jake Schwanitz. Find him wherever you get your internet. Good stuff. God, I love that. When you surprise me with a little cherry on top there. Beautiful.
Even got quotes
stuff.
from the kid. How about
love
that?
it. Sounds like a nice kid.
Yeah, he was cool to talk
Also, you
to.
love Coach Prime and him just hit it off.
Yep.
Like he felt it right away.
Oh, yeah.
All these kids feel that love.
Yep.
This staff feels that love. You can just tell.
It's just about playing ball and being genuine and being a hard worker. That's really all they care about.
Yeah.
And they gravitate to kids that are like that. Those kids that are like that gravitate to this coaching staff. And it's honestly a beautiful thing to watch. And it makes even the outside noise more funny because it couldn't be further from the truth.
Colorado losing its mind over the 4-4.
4-4-4-5. It was. He ran really well. He impressed.
Stupid. That is stupid.
Colorado now has 2 tight ends in the 2025 recruiting class. That is probably the weakest position on this roster as it stands right now. But
certainly as far as depth, as just lacking depth.
Yes.
So that's really nice. And all of a sudden, a room that gets a little more local next year with already having the Ohio State transfer.
Yep. Corbin Lazier is the other tight end commit. He's listed at 6'5", 225. Zayne DeSouza, 6'6", 260, of course. So they're getting bigger, they're getting younger, and more athletic at the tight end position. And to me, the striking thing is this is probably the biggest position of need on the roster right now, and they're attacking it in recruiting, high school recruiting.
Yeah.
So
which also goes to show you kind of the more long-term view of building out this roster, right?
Exactly.
I mean, this is something you guys were describing
exactly
from like month 1 that, hey, this is the plan. This is how this is going to play out. It's been fun to see that come to fruition. And just a reminder, Coach Prime never lies.
Yep. And with that, chat, I didn't get a chance to say this yesterday, or maybe I did. I can't remember. But Neely told us after we recorded the show on Wednesday, because if you remember on Wednesday when we did our takeaways, Neely, he didn't want to pick a player of the day.
Yeah.
He refused to do it for some reason. He just said everyone balled out. It was a great day. He told us after, though, that Sam Hart would have been his pick for player of the day. So it sounds like Sam Hart is really coming on, really fitting in well. And shout out to Coach Bartoloni, too, coaching the tight ends, moved from wide receivers to tight ends. And immediately you get Sam Hart blossoming. You have these guys in Savell Smalls, Morgan Pearson doing well in their position changes. And then you get 2 3-star commits for the 2025 recruiting class. Shout out Coach Bart.
Great stuff. Yeah, truly. Really stand out. Great insights, Jake.
Julian Lewis.
Juju.
So yesterday, you probably noticed if you were online, a lot of official offers going out. A lot.
Yeah.
I don't remember this happening last year. I don't know the strategy behind it and all that, but it just, obviously these guys have been offered before. They're just literally getting their physical offer in front of them saying you are invited to attend the University of Colorado.
We're still mailing those out, huh?
I guess so, but they tons of guys got them yesterday. We've got a little bit of a list here. Julian got his, of course.
Yes.
And remember, the chat was a little freaking out a little bit yesterday because when we went live, he
the
posted
chat freaking out. No way.
When we were live, Julian had only posted the official offer from USC,
Which also arrived the same. What's going on?
I don't know. Crazy.
Did Georgia do the same?
Maybe.
I'm going to look up Juju and see what else I can.
Okay. But other guys besides Julian Lewis who have received their offer, Andrew Marsh is a 2025 wide receiver. It looks like he is from, I can't tell right now, but he got one. I'm trying to load his Twitter, sorry.
Yeah. No,
Katy,
you're fine.
Texas.
Oh, hell yeah. That's where AJ's from.
I think that's where Trevor Woods is from, too.
Nice.
Carday Smith also got his offer. He's a 4-star offensive tackle out of Williamson High School.
Good.
That is located in Mobile, Alabama, or that's where he's from.
Oh, hell yeah.
We also had Trajan Odom. He got his offer. This is a guy who came to at least one game, I remember, last year on a visit, if not multiple games. He is from Weddington High School. I believe that is North Carolina. Currently committed to the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Okay.
He plays defensive line and tight end. He got his official offer, though. Corbin Lazier got his CU Buffs commit. Javon McFadden got his. That's Jordan Seaton's cousin. I believe he is another interior offensive lineman. I think at IMG. I don't know for sure, though.
Nailed it.
I don't know if I did. Riverdale Baptist did not nail it.
Okay. No, not nailed.
That's in Maryland, though. Julian, as I mentioned, got his. Mantrez Walker posted his as well. Zayne DeSouza also. So he was on an official visit, or not an unofficial visit, 2 days ago or yesterday, either way. So he was there, visited, got his official offer, then commits.
I'm confused, Jake.
Why are you confused?
I'm sure there's some greater design. And I mean, clearly, Juju got USC, CU, and Indiana.
Yep.
Offers all on that same day. So it must just be something that's happening nationally. But I don't know. I'd send these offers out when we give them an offer. You know, but what do I know about offer bureaucracy? You know, I'm just some guy, you know.
I didn't look into it, so I don't know. I think a dead period or a quiet period just closed, though, in terms of recruiting. So I think that's why these are all kind of coming out or came out on the first yesterday.
That makes sense.
Cortez Mills, wide receiver, 4-star wide receiver, committed to Oklahoma, I believe. He is from Florida. He got one as well. And I think that is pretty much it.
Yeah, so quite a few.
Quite a few. And high-profile guys, too.
Yeah.
Committed to other schools.
Right.
And such. So,
and then our guy, Zayne DeSouza.
Zayne DeSouza.
Zayne.
And then our guy, Julian Lewis, too.
Of course.
But there's more to get into it, Julian.
Yes, there is, huh?
There is. Earlier today, on threes, Josh Newberg and our guy Dukes, we're talking about Julian on one of their shows. And Dukes said there's not another team out there that has a shot at flipping Julian Lewis besides Colorado. So
love to hear that.
Seems like we're truly down to USC and Colorado at this point. Auburn is already trying to flip another. I think it's, chat, help me out. It's the Notre Dame quarterback. I think it's Deuce Knight. They're trying to flip him. They've already changed their quarterback flipping target. Indiana, know, we talked about them. How seriously are you taking them? He's got a relationship with, I think, Tino Sunseri is his name, who's the quarterback's coach. He's actually Coach Sal's son, Vinny Sunseri's brother. But they go way back. He goes way back with Julian, and that's the link between Indiana and him. Okay. And then, of course, USC. He's been committed there for over a year now. We know the relationship that he and TC have with Lincoln Riley.
Yeah.
But it sounds like it's really down to, does he stay at USC or does he flip to Colorado at this point?
Well, we shall see. I know where my money would be.
Yeah. How do you feel about how this recruitment has gone? Remember, we have Evan Haynes committing on Tuesday, the 6th. That is his birthday. Nikki came on here on the show yesterday and shared a lot of great information. His father also played with Coach Prime in Atlanta back in the day.
Crazy. His father was the 5th.
His father was Michael Haynes. Do you remember that name at all?
No, I don't.
He played at Northern Arizona, was a 7th-round pick in 1988.
Oh, wow.
But played for the Falcons and Saints. He had a massive year in 1991, 50 receptions for 1,122 yards and 11 touchdowns.
Wow.
Had a full
pretty
career,
good career.
Though. Yeah, 10-year career.
Especially for a guy who went to Northern Arizona and was a 7th-rounder.
Yep, 147 career games played, 428 career receptions, 47 career touchdowns. It's a damn
solid.
good NFL
That's
career.
really solid. He's a little before my memory there.
But yeah, that's
Well, how do you think recruiting's gone? From the outside, it looks good, but you
for
know,
Julian
I
or for
tap in every so often.
For Julian?
Well, in general.
Oh, I think recruiting's about to. We're just getting started with recruiting.
Yeah.
I think we got a little taste of it yesterday with all the offers going out. They're going to try and be aggressive, very aggressive with this 2025 class. They've shown they want to attack the trenches in the recruiting class as well. Defensively, I think we've yet to really see that impact. I think that's coming. Edge rushers, I think, are going to start coming as well.
Yes, God, that'd be nice.
They've shown that they really want to get a top-tier safety over the last year and a half or so. They've really recruited that hard. I think it's only a matter of time there as well. We'll see what happens with Evan Haynes. We feel good about that one. And then we see what happens with Julian. We feel good about that one. If those two come through, we're just getting started with this recruiting class. I firmly believe that. We're going to see more flips. We're going to have more visit-packed weekends on games during the season. And then, of course, once the season does end and they get into full recruiting mode, I expect it to be picked up even another level than what we've seen.
Well, and I mean, this is where it's that third recruiting cycle where things really start blowing up.
Exactly.
And you're setting those big time roots for the foreseeable future. So really exciting stuff.
Yep, great point by Nicole. We're the only school in this conversation who isn't looking at someone other than Juju. Yeah, even USC is trying to look at other quarterback targets in the 2025 class.
Just incredible.
Amazing.
I just think of Coach Bryman as you thought you could have what we got. Laughing. That's how I feel.
We're going to see that one again.
Oh, it's an all-timer. Yeah. So great.
Yes, USC did have Malachi Nelson. He has at Boise State, but they have Miller Moss. You know, he had a decent bowl game, really good bowl game. Right. We'll see what he does in the Big Ten, but it's Lincoln Riley. They can recruit quarterbacks, but it sounds like Julian, Colorado might have done it.
Shall see. I just hope the decision happens soon.
I think we are approaching, again, his season starts on the 16th. Evan Haynes commits on Tuesday. I'd expect sometime between Tuesday and the 16th we get a final decision, and Julian will shut down his recruitment.
Okay. Love it.
All right, chat. What do we got today? We've got about 8 minutes here. Dylan asks, how are we feeling about O-line, D-line? I think we feel really good.
Well,
you know,
D-line, the vibes are pretty good right now.
Yeah, and and, you know, I put that tweet out today about, you know, Pat Shurmur. He mentioned the D-line or whatever, and someone was like, oh, this has me worried about the offensive line. Yeah. One, again, we're 5 days in. I would not worry about that. Two, the offensive line has already been improved. We already know that. They're already better than they were last year. That's just a given at this point. I think it's just a matter of nailing down the chemistry and just acting as a, you know, full fist, not 5 separate fingers.
Great point. Yeah, just takes a while for that kind of a unit to gel.
Lonnie with the super chat. Welcome back to the Big 12 CU. It's great to be back home.
Legend Lonnie.
Your favorite CU Big 12 memory?
That's 01. That's beating Nebraska.
62-36.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't.
Any others that stand out?
Legendary right there. Boy, it's been a while, Jake. It's been a while. I mean, 5 down game was always fun. You know. You think about, those games in the 90s, and then Gary Barnett gave us some fun in 01 there. Yeah, that's a great question. Honestly, I'd like Rhino on to really get into all that.
We'll talk about it. When is Nikki coming back? Soon. We'll have her back. We'll have Scott back too. Scott's been out of town. We'll get him back. Napsalot says, you guys should do a bit that is which position coach is the happiest right now. Linebackers, OC, etc. Shurmur is pumped about this year with his QB. Who would be the happiest position coach right now? I think there's a few nominations. Shurmur would be up there.
Mm-hmm.
I think Kevin Mathis is really happy with what he has. He's got one less headache to deal with this year as well, so that he probably feels good about that. I think Coach Flea is really happy with what he has right now at running back as well.
Well, that's huge.
Yeah. And then I think Coach Phillips is really happy at wide receiver just because he gets to coach probably the best wide receiver unit in college football every day.
Yeah, for sure.
Good question. Steven says, love seeing the aggression at practice, but how much is too much? When would you step in? It's hard to say. I think a lot of it is just there's always a lot of buildup to camp. There's a lot of anticipation. I think a lot of that this week is just letting that out. I think there's always a natural dip in terms of maybe morale, motivation. Just once you get into the dog days, after the first week, it's just it's different. You know what I mean? So I think it'll naturally drop off a little bit. We'll see tomorrow with the live action how competitive it gets and how chippy it gets. But Charlie and I think Shurmur talked about it. But either way, it's been mentioned by multiple people this week that's just something we didn't have last year. That chippiness, that aggressiveness, that nastiness, as Charlie said today. And it's just a necessary thing that you need on your team.
Yeah, and I think it just comes with being a smidge more competitive and aggressive. And I think the coaches have a feel for that. They're better than anyone to kind of assess how much is too much and let guys break a sweat and let guys be a bit more competitive, aggressive, and, get that aggression out early and can focus a little more on fine-tuning things and conditioning as we keep going. But this is really where you want to establish that first and foremost.
For sure. Jay says, Dre, do you know who I Show Speed is?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
good.
He's been all over Europe this summer. So there's a lot of soccer kits. I noticed him with all that, yeah.
He said, did you see I Show Speed was hanging out at AC Milan with Zlatan? Your old city went nuts for him. He shut down a KFC and nearly caused a riot, but Zlatan proved he was the king of Milan.
Yeah, I was around there right when he was, not the KFC shut down apparently, but yeah, no, nice being back. Nice to see him do his thing. Now Milan's in the States doing their whole tour and getting lots of recognition. And I saw Zlatan was on Part of My Take and doing stuff with Barstool out there. So no, it's fun to see for the brand, man. And I Show Speed, while maybe his videos aren't for me, I'm glad that he's uplifting and showing all these European cities and like rocking the kits and stuff like that. It's very cool to see.
Arvada Cardsco says, is there a practice tomorrow? Yes, there is. Media was not invited. DNVR was not invited, but there will be Well Off. There will be the pregame show. There will be Reach the People to catch up on. So
there you go.
Maybe we talk about it tomorrow on my Twitch stream. That'd be fun.
Whoa. Tease.
J Motion says, when is Ian Massey suiting up? I do not know.
There you go. Sorry.
Chase, is DNVR going to the kickoff luncheon? Yep, Friday. Next Friday we get Coach Prime press conference. I believe we also get a Shador and Shiloh press conference, and then it's full on media day. So,
dang.
Yeah, we'll get a chance to talk to a ton of players.
Oh
and
my
coaches.
gosh. Monday?
Friday, a week from today.
Friday. Okay, great.
Yep.
Great.
So that'll be a fun day.
Yeah, no kidding. That's going to be amazing.
Yeah, last year we got a bunch of great guests. We got Tank and JD together, which was awesome. We got Charlie, we got Mikey, Alto. I mean, can't even remember all of them. A lot. So you can expect that type of... there will be a ton of content dropping next week in general, but on Friday and next weekend, I'm sure we have a 21 questions with Mate coming. Tuesday.
Good stuff.
Yes, and I will continue to ask RK to play some CFB on the stream as well.
Really? It's going down.
I was trying to get him to do it today, but then he had this thing he had to go to over the weekend. So,
what was it, an emergency bachelor party?
There's
a bachelor party emergency? Is that right? That can't be. That seems as odd as you waking up 5 minutes after you should have left the house. It's like a bachelor party in LA. Huh. Those must have been expensive plans to make last minute.
Say that's last
weird.
Minute.
That's really weird. Odd. These guys, they live such strange and unusual lives. They've chose chill. We've got that going for
Hell
us.
yeah, we have.
they've
Shout
chose
out
chill.
Coors Light. It's Friday,
They've
so
chose chill indeed.
it's time to go enjoy some Coors Lights, I think,
It's
Dre.
true. That's true. Silver bullet time.
Your service today was greatly appreciated, and
That was yours.
and Alyssa's, yes.
Superstar. Superstar.
Great stuff this week. I'm excited for week 2. There's going to be a lot more content next week. So talk to you guys then. And I'll probably see you on a Twitch stream at some point this weekend. Let's go Buffs.
We all silly like the mayor.